All right, everybody. That was a little bit of a difficult evening slash night slash early morning to get through if you're a Seahawks fan, if you're somebody that's plugged into the team, somebody that pays attention to every bit of breaking news and rumor that comes out about the team. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. At the very least, it was a little bit distressing. Some people were very distressed, but I think that as we head towards the afternoon today, things are definitely calming down. Mike Macdonald is about 10 minutes into a press conference. And the first thing he talked about in that press conference was Nick Emmanwori. And I thought I'd go ahead and compile basically a timeline or list or whatever you want to call it of Emmanwori related updates we've gotten since last night, since I made that video. So, yeah, it was a little bit of a tough time, not fun, especially for a player that I think we all love, but let's get to it. All right, everybody, before we go any further into this video, I want to take a minute to tell you guys about the Sleeper app. We are just about to the Super Bowl. Now would be a great time to get on Sleeper. It's a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. Celebrate and chat about sports in real time with other users. You can get scores, you can get news, you get alerts with blazing fast speed, all kinds of sports stuff. You can play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. Enjoy sports together with a community. Download the Sleeper app today. And when you do, use promo code SBN for up to $100 match on your first deposit. And also, utilize the free $20 entry with no deposit required. All you have to do is make an account for that one. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper and have some fun with sports this year. All right, so after I posted the video last night, we didn't really get any updates for several hours because there's probably nothing to learn. Corbin, I think, mentioned that they had done imaging on his leg last night, which scared some people, but realistically, you're always going to do imaging in situations like this, and it doesn't really mean anything. The first big update we got was actually from TikTok. We got a little clip here, and New Era posted it on his X account. And the video basically shows Emmanwori leaving his car and walking into a hotel after the ankle injury last night. And it actually looked pretty darn tame. So that was the first thing we saw that was kind of encouraging. There was no crutch, there was no cast, there was just a mild limp. So that was good. And if you haven't seen the video yet, I'll go ahead and, if I can remember, put a link to it in the video description. But basically, I wouldn't say he was 100%, of course, because he wasn't, but it looked relatively tame. And at that point, I think that most Seahawks fans got the sense that this was not anything significant. If it was, there would have been crutches, a cast, something more than just him walking around on his own with a mild limp. And again, this is after they did testing. This is not like him walking off the practice field right after it happened. Some people were making the Zach Charbonnet comparison, but this is hours after the fact, after he's already had it looked at. Okay, so we got we got that, and then we had this morning, and I don't know if Kobe Bryant should have done this, but he was on Seattle Sports Radio, and when he was asked by Mike Salk about Emmanwori, Kobe Bryant just went ahead and straight up said, yeah, he's good. Now, I don't know if Macdonald appreciates that. I think you could make an argument that Macdonald would have preferred that he played it vague. But at the same time, what else is Kobe Bryant going to say, right? Just because Kobe Bryant says it doesn't make it true, and it doesn't make it that he'll be fine to play on Sunday. So it's probably not a big deal, but it did kind of occur to me that I'm wondering if maybe now that we're in this situation with Emmanwori, Mike would have preferred everybody just kind of, not really say anything until game day. But again, not really a big deal, but that was the next thing we got, which was a few hours ago. Then we got this from Pro Football Doc on X, David Chow, one of the better sources out there for football injury information. Not always perfect, but definitely somebody that you can, at the very least, trust to do his best to provide an objective analysis of a player's injury before we get anything official from team doctors or league doctors or whatever. And he called it a right inversion ankle sprain based on the video of him walking out of his car. Would be out today, but Super Bowl 60 is 3 days away. So that implies, at least, I know he didn't really follow up on this. That does imply that he's got a pretty good chance of being ready to go for the game. And then we got just a little bit ago this from Nemhauser, who is following the Super Bowl very closely, of course, same as any Seahawks content creator. Nick Emmanwori, this was like not even half an hour ago, has been moved to the podium for availability today. And generally speaking, injured players are not made available to the media at the podium. If you're injured, usually they kind of release you of that responsibility. So this is another strong indicator that this was all way overblown. Again, it could just be them messing around. It could be gamesmanship. I don't want to guarantee anything. Generally speaking, though, they release you of your media obligations at the Super Bowl if you are injured in some way, shape, or form. So this indicates whatever's going on is relatively minor. Now, all of this obviously leads up to what we got about 15 minutes ago from Macdonald, and this is the hammer, right? What Macdonald says is ultimately what we're really going to pay attention to here. If he says anything of value, sometimes he doesn't, sometimes he keeps it very vague. But Macdonald is the guy we really wanted to hear from today, and he gave us good news. Nick Emmanwori has a low ankle sprain, which is about as insignificant as an actual injury could be. The only way this news could have been better is if he came out and said, "Oh, there's no injury. We just decided to play it safe." He is expected to play in the Super Bowl. He's doing great, moving around. This is certainly a circumstance where, because you know this is the last game no matter what, you can inject him with all kinds of painkillers. You can give him all kinds of Tylenol. You can do whatever it takes to get him out there, tape it up, and you don't have to worry about making it so that he misses games in future weeks or months, because there are no games in future weeks and months. So based on these comments, it sure sounds like we are fine. He also had this also from a Dugar here. Not sure how extensive, if at all, he's going to practice. I think most Seahawks fans would be totally fine if he's going to not practice at all today or tomorrow or at all until the game. He's confident, got a great plan, fully expect him to play. He's doing great and moving around. Just got to make sure we handle it the right way. Probably going to be over careful and over cautious to make sure we're rolling going into the weekend. He did mention that Emmanwori will participate in the walkthrough today, and they said he might practice. So that's all very encouraging. It sounds at least as good, maybe better than the news we got with Charles Cross when he was going through some of this stuff. So it looks like we dodged a real problem. Now, is Nick Emmanwori going to be less than 100% for the Super Bowl? You would think so. You would think it would be mostly mitigated by painkillers. But if you're going to say he's either 100% or is he 92%, probably closer to that 92%. But at this point in the season, sorry, um, who's really 100%? Probably nobody. So it's unfortunate this happened. I hope it doesn't end up reflecting poorly on him during the game in some way, but we dodged the worst. All right, so that's really all we got. At this point, that's probably the best news you could ask for, and all we can do now is hope that he is ready to go for game day. But based on what we know about Macdonald and based on the way this season has gone so far and based on what we know about these football players just in general and how they roll and how they operate, it looks like we got him. It looks like he's fine, and it looks like he is at least good enough to play well. And if you're going to say he's not quite 100%, you're probably right. Was he 100% before this injury? Probably not anyway, right? He's played how many snaps this year? Close to 1,000. So, yeah, that's really all that's really all that can be said. And I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. I know Macdonald will say some other things, and I'll maybe talk about that in a future video, but I know that everyone's mind is on this right now, so I wanted to go ahead and cover this now. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks, and good news, man. Best news you could have hoped for.